Okay, let's see. I've got this newfangled thing kind of set up. That's not how that needs to go. Slowly but surely, we'll get this dialed in the way that it needs to. As it is essentially me working backwards. Alright, there we go. Alright. Good evening, everybody. Always a pleasure to see you guys back here with me and spending the evening together. So, we are going to work on some more mini paintings since I wound up canceling stream due to how tired I was last week and had quite a bit of things to take care of at the later half of the week. So, we're just going to jump right into this and see if we can knock out some of these smaller minis, and then we'll continue working throughout the next few streams as what we wind up getting into next. And then once a few more people show up, we'll start looking at detailing and telling some of the shenanigans we had over the weekend. But mostly I'm just trying to make sure that this setup is currently working. Because that is what needs to be most important, as this new little gadget that I picked up is doing the job as it needs to be doing. So, if there's anything that's weird, or if the music is being too loud or anything like that, do let me know and I will fix that as quickly and as easily as I can. So, we're going to work on, or at least start over here on these knolls. See if I can just maneuver myself a little bit better. So, that should hopefully not put everything to where I'm blocking every bit of the camera arms unnecessarily. Alright, so these buggers are scavengers, brown graves. This is the new one. Okay. So we already got most of their bases done. We've already got the dark wash going on them, so should need that. So that's there's not gonna be any gold or gold on that one. Alright. Let's start off, shall we? Got a couple of plates on the armor there. Not much. That'll be fine. Let's grab this one. nice, good start on the weapons here. Which, again, are probably my favorite thing to work on because you can just do so much in terms of just a little dab of paint here or there will do wonders to do a little bit of environmental storytelling. Because I'm always a firm believer you can tell a lot about a person by the weapon they pick. My preferred methods of dealing with things, if it's more smash, more finesse, or how quick it can wind up going, or how slow. A lot of different factors into it. But yeah, always fun to sit back and paint up some good chaotic utensils to use. So we'll just slowly run through the silver for weapon and a couple places for the plate armor, or plates that happen to be in the leather armor, and utilize that across all three of these little Null Warband users. We'll do that. Nice. Hard metallic cap. And a nice little counterbalance to that bearded broadhead. And looks like you're wearing very mishmash coated plate here. Well, welcome in, Parasette. I hope you're doing alright tonight. Welcome in, Hedgie. Is everything going alright? No, since I wound up canceling Friday and I was and Wednesday, since I was planning to do multiple streams of painting for you guys, I figured I would make up for it and we'll just do figure painting all this week and see if we can't work through a little bit of this pile of shame that I have here, as well as I may or may not have refound a couple of things that were gifted to me a while ago that also need painting. Welcome in, Ramesine. I hope you're doing alright. I hope work treated you both well. So yeah, we're going to sit back and we're going to paint a good bit this week. See how much of this we can clear out. As I had a great run the D&D game I played over the weekend. So I'm in a mood to continue with the theme of painting, running, and creating ideas. Which, if you notice, there is something new on the table that I was able to pick up over the weekend that will eventually, very much so, be tormenting my players. Let's see if any of you can pick it out fairly quickly. I got a new chair. No, no, it's not a new table. New haircut. No, I just let my hair down, Hedgie. I did get that. Yes, that part is new, and there are pictures of that in the server. But we have the God of the Drow, Lolth the Spider Queen, in all of her absolutely terrifying glory. The spider! Yeah, very angry spider goddess. So yeah, that is something, Ramesine, you will have a wonderful time looking forward to, since you are a player at my table. Along with all of the wonderful horrors that I have sitting in front of me. Squirt of lemon. I don't think a 14's gonna get for you, Hedgie. Not against a god, I'm afraid. But I give you credit for trying to go chaotic barbarian against it. At least oil is in my blood. I mean, yeah, you do have that going for you, but Lolth is a demon goddess of many things. Like, that may not be what saves you in the end. That could just prolong your suffering. Remember, I've told you I am not going to go out of my way to kill you. I'm just going to challenge and or traumatize you in ways you did not think that you could be. In fact, most of what's on my table currently to paint are just wonderful horrors that I can throw at you in the Underdark. Since that seems to be one of the favored games to return, which hopefully I'll be able to start running those games again in the summer. And then I know we have the other game. Who needs therapist when you have D&D? And I'm joking, therapist randos. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of it, is D&D can work as both. First off, you're not playing D&D right if you're not hitting on your friends. Just plain and simple. The idea of just getting everybody together, having a good time, and just causing shenanigans and telling a story together is fantastic. So, yes, it is a wonderful, beautiful bit of therapy, because we need the escapism, and there's actually really good therapy attached to it. It's clear because therapy is cheaper. It depends on how you play D&D there, Cozy. Because if you just play, full theater of the mind and you only need one book, you're looking at a price tag of maybe $24.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
And then just having the time and the friends to throw down on it. But welcome in, Cozy. I hope you're doing well. And you're damn right he's cool. Or if you do play a little bit more in depth, it's going to use a flashlight and decoy Bowie. I can smell it. Well, even better is our boy is coming back from New York here soon. So you will have your war crime friend in right back where he belongs, being the Kratos to your Mimir. Which we are all excited for. I mean, to a point, yeah. I mean, I get now if you're someone like me who, yeah, spends money on minis and everything, yes, 100%. Therapy may be cheaper than D&D at a certain point. I will not deny that. But this way is more fun because I can play pretend while I do so. I can't go into a therapy session and play pretend. I do that, they put me on medications and get that fun little jacket I can't move my arms around in. And nobody wants that. But welcome in, Cody. I hope you're doing well tonight. Alright, so this guy is actually wearing a decent amount of armor, so some more finer details to run with him. But yeah, Cozy, speaking of therapy, here you go. It's hard to mix it in and buy a fursuit. That's fair. Oh, yeah, 100% there, right? Scene. But yeah, here you go, Cozy. A little bit of Lulz action was something that I was happily able to pick up from my local store over the weekend to, properly traumatize my players with. That'll be a secret tool we'll hold on and use for later. Now I'm good on spider monsters. Oh, but why? Is it because you don't prefer to go to the Underdark? But that's where all the fun things live. The forgotten things, the betrayed things, the banished things. Bottle some tadpoles. Now, careful with that idea there, Ramesine, because you know they're what type of tadpoles home in the Underdark, don't you? The fun mind flayer kind? Oh, really? Okay. Well, hey, I mean, hours drive once a week might not be a bad thing. You may be a robot, but your friends aren't robots. Or, well, I'm sorry, you don't. Yeah, that's right. Your character wouldn't see them as friends. Your compatriots and unwitting allies are susceptible to those very creations. 5e, Pathfinder 2, and wow, and D&D 1.0. Okay, wow. I'm impressed that people. Well, I'm not necessarily impressed that people still have first edition, because hell, even my game store is selling like first and advanced D&D, the older manuals, and still has a bunch of 3.5 stuff for sale. Though none of the books that I'm looking for, at least at the moment. So soon I might start recollecting the older editions, just to have and hold on to, and maybe flip through some of their monster manuals for evil fun. But you know, I haven't had the chance to play Pathfinder Second Edition. I've heard nothing but good things about it, though. So I actually I would not mind sitting in on a game and seeing how Pathfinder Second Edition winds up running, as I think that could be a very good little, backup system to run with. Welcome in, Pine. Evil. Eve. How are you doing tonight, Pine? I hope the night's treating you well. Hopefully work was good for you today, and if not, at least it's over with and you can get you some rest and relaxation now. But how do you guys like the a little bit better setup? I went and bought myself a little like mounted arm for the camera, so that it's not so literally at table level and able to just be knocked over. Oh, the next 2 days are your weekend. Okay, there you go. Well, then even better, Pine. Happy weekend to you. I hope that they go by with as quickly as they need to, but as slowly as the point that you can enjoy sitting back and rest and relax. Good, good. As long as the angle's better. That was my main concern, because I was like, yeah, I know it's kind of at a weird, like how I was having to set it up was kind of weird. So getting it set up in a better angle here is, yeah, that's as long as we're making progress on that, at least until I can fully change my setup, I will happily accept this being a more acceptable angle. Alright, this berserker has a lot of armor, actually. I was not aware. But I am glad to hear that you're about to enjoy your weekend pine. Hopefully, it is as restful as it can be for you, and you get to sit back and enjoy all the good. And also, let us give, for those of us who are here, let's go ahead and wish our wonderful Hedgie another happy early birthday. As Set's birthday bash is tomorrow, and he is streaming tomorrow, so I definitely will recommend that you go and check his page and his channel out so that you don't miss all the shenanigans of his wonderful birthday bash. Oh no, Hedgie, you don't get to get away from it. We don't let you get away from that here. You get to enjoy the birthday bash, which actually is a set of my two gremlins wanted me to tell you happy birthday and to wish you well. As they know that you were the one who has wonderfully done the artwork for my channel and my profile pictures that they very much enjoy seeing whenever I turn my YouTube on to get their nighttime stuff ready for them. So they wanted to wish you a happy birthday as well. You go take care of your wiener, is that dog. But again, happy early birthday. Hydration Nation, everybody. Alright. Let's get to you here, good sir. Go ahead and knock your metallic armors out. This one I've got to be a little bit more careful with because he's got this annoying clear base to him, and I'm just not a fan of them moving to the clear bases. I liked my opaque plastic discs. Because then if I accidentally goof up with any of the paint, I can just paint that whole base a different color. With these clear bases, I can't quite do that. I could, but it's also the type of plastic and how overly smooth it is. It's not going to take that paint. It won't take the paint well. There we are. I mean, that would be one way to do it, but then that would literally require me to invest more in, sanding and things like that when I already know I'm not a crack painter. As hell, I can't even see half the colors I use. But I am at least able to, and I also don't mix any of my paints to create colors because, I failed color theory quite hard, especially when you're, eye blind to several of the colors. But, I mostly just kind of, I mostly just layer my paints until it starts to look right in my head. But I mean, I like when they have, like bases like this, where this one just has a regular, like, terrain piece, and then you have, like, these, the good old discs. I mean, basically, that's what I have to do. They're fine. But yeah, like, I like these because, I paint up all of the terrain around their feet and do the things that I want, and then I can just glue them onto that base. And then I can, paint or do whatever I want to that little plastic disc, and it's fine. Because it's no longer a problem. And that's no longer something that is going to, slow me down in terms of what it is I want to do. But when they give me these, figures already pre-positioned on these, clear stands like this, it just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult because now I have to be extra careful with making mistakes there. Because one mistake and now I have a massive smear and smudge on a clear base that if I try to clean is just going to smear the paint around way more. Now, it's funny because the drow that I picked up, one of their bases actually has, like, button points on it for you to push the, like, base of the figure onto these little button points. I don't know how I feel about that. Because that just, again, you're giving me something that already doesn't like to take the paint that anyone uses unless I'm taking a bunch of extra steps, which, if I was a bit more professional in this hobby, that wouldn't be a problem. But again, I'm just painting for the fun of it. I don't need all the, like, widgets and tools and airbrushes and things like that. I'm okay with just slowly taking my time with a brush, but I understand my limitations. It's just, why go from the classic hard dark plastic that takes paint well and has enough space for you to add, like, terrain bits and stuff, if that's what you want to do, to something that I literally can only fit that figure onto. And that's if, I do it right. And don't goof up, its, pinpoints. I mean, I would definitely be down there, Ramazine. Like, fantasy is, yeah, love of the hobby, exactly. That is the name of the game. So yeah, I would love to help you work on any of your maps. I think you were fantastic at creating those. gonna make that leather. We're not gonna just encase you and steel all the way here, Mr. Flint man. I think that will turn you into a fairly bland creature if you're just encased in nothing but metal all the way around. You're also an owl. You, even if you're looting, you shouldn't be that overly kitted out that everything you have is metal. You get a nice breastplate and bracers. That's all I'm going to give you. I think it'll make you a little bit more interesting without. And I also get to have a little bit of fun being creative with the mini. Alright, we're gonna do something a little special with that breastplate of yours. I mean, I'm fully down. As I definitely, because I think a little fun confession in terms of how I run or have been running most of our games up to the point where we stop. My friend, I have a vague concept of what the story should be and what I expect you guys to do. From there, I let you guys just have at it. Because you guys are the ones. The story is going to happen whether you decide to take part in it or not. There will be consequences if you don't, but you are free to circumvent or aid the story at any point. There you go, Pine. I think that would be a blast. I'd love to hear about that too. As I know, Ramesine, you've been working on yours for a while. I mean, I know you've gone on and off about it every now and again. But I would absolutely love to revive the initial beginnings of what we started. Wow, it's been quite a while since we attempted to start your setting. I would love to revive that because that had so much wild and fun potential. And hell yeah, Pine, I really hope that you can find all of it. Hopefully it's all fairly easy to find and just kind of get back into the swing of it. But hey, if nothing else, nothing's really stopping you from making a new one either. Oh wow, okay. go. Let that gold settle a bit. Do a little bit of touch up in a couple of the smeared areas, but that will give a nice contrast to you. Get you to stand out a little bit, especially since you're... Okay. I mean, hey, but 100%. I'm good at building off. So that's where my talent lies. Is I can create worlds, but it's going to take me forever and a day to do it. If I sit back and if I already have something built up or something I can, bounce off of, I can create stories and ideas all day, every day, without any trouble. But again, I do very much kind of prefer, if I don't have something go ahead and build off of, it's going to take me a while to come up with something. But if I already have, this is why D&D works for me so well, is I immediately take access points from, any of the world settings of D&D, and I can immediately start creating stories. However, if I were, creating my own setting, I'm going to be stealing quite a bit or taking a lot of inspiration from whatever I happen to be watching, reading, or have been playing at that point recently. A lot of that inspiration is going to go right back into my creative process. Which is great currently because I have a crap ton of D&D supplements that are here because, I got that massive Ryoko's collection from the Kickstarter that dropped in. I am absolutely in love with everything about that. The fact that you can literally kind of play bits of Monster Hunter as well as, you actually have Titan-sized bosses that you can use as the environment to fight them themselves is just so much fun mechanics. And I've shared it with my buddy who's DMing the games that we are currently playing with, and I immediately sent him the PDFs, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be stealing a lot of this stuff. Especially like the kaiju rules. There's that, but it's even funnier when, because I know my brother Josh, he will, because me and him talk almost every day, so if I'm really getting into something, he will inadvertently wind up getting really into it as well. So then when we're at the table and I start throwing things at the party, he immediately goes, oh, I see what you're doing. I know what evil you're trying to point out and spread here. How dare you? Okay. Well, hell yeah. I would love to just kind of look over the notes and whatnot that you've created there, Ramesine, because that already just sounds like you've got half a world just rip-roaring and ready to go at a moment's notice to just turn a group of adventurers loose in. Yeah, this green is going to go on a little dark, but that actually looks pretty good so far. I did have a very hilarious moment at the game store this weekend too, because I had my brother Josh with me when we stopped by over there, and I have been placing a couple of orders here and there at this game store for some figures, and the Lolth was one of them that came in. So I walked up to the guy who usually orders the stuff for me, and he was like, "Oh, hey, man, I wanted to let you know I was going to call you, but then you showed up in store, so I don't have to. We have one of the creatures you ordered. It's up front, ready to go. So just give them your name when you're checking out, and they'll toss that in your bag." And I was like, "Okay, dope. Which one was it?" And they were like, "Oh, it's the Spider Queen." To which Josh immediately just did a quick snap at his neck and looked at me, and he's, "Why do you hate me?" And I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not like you're going to remember by the time she winds up popping up." And then he's like, "Oh, and by the way, the other two figures, one of them is on order, so it should hopefully be here next week. And that is a type of dragon." And immediately Josh, his jaw dropped. He's like, "Dude, why? Why would you do that?" And then he said, "Also, the spider dragon is just currently out of stock." And at that point, the fucking what? I said, "Don't worry about it." And he's like, "No, what did he say? The spider what?" And I said, "Yeah, go ahead and look that up, if you dare. Look up what a spider dragon is. And have a blast with that. Because yes, eventually that is what you might be fighting." Okay. That sounds great to me. Not sounding a good time being a fleshback. No, not a time to be a good thing at all in the Underdark. And I absolutely loved his reaction, and immediately my guy was like, "Oh wait, that's one of your players. I really hope I didn't spoil things." I said, "Oh no, you've not spoiled anything. If anything, all you've done is give him pre-trauma to the trauma I'm going to inflict." And he was like, "Okay, well, as long as I didn't screw up a surprise." And "Oh no, you didn't screw it up. In fact, you may have made it better because now he knows, and it's going to bother him that he knows, and there's nothing he can do about it." And then immediately at the D&D table this weekend, he ratted me out to the entire rest of the party, which does have members of the games I run at the table. And they immediately all just stared at me in the most motherfuckerly of ways, and I was just like, hey, the great news is you still have until, probably until late summer before this actually winds up happening. So unless you have a really good memory, which I know most of you here do not, we're going to have a lot of fun when this comes back up, because then you'll remember that you were warned and you still weren't prepared. So yes, very, very much so. I'm already enjoying planning and preparing to be a devious, evil little shit to everybody. This will be on the exam. However, we are not going to mention it at all until the exam. So good luck for those of you who do not have hyper-intensive photographic memories. Welcome in, Landon. I cannot deny you're not wrong with that. I was just explaining that one of my orders came in over the weekend. R2D2 noises immense. There you go. So, one of my 3 orders came in while my brother was standing next to me in the game store over the weekend, to which his reactions got progressively worse. We got the Lolth, the Demon Queen of Spiders, and the Drow's Patron God. She came in over the weekend. So, yeah, Josh was not a very happy camper seeing that at all. And then the guy behind the counter who orders all of my figures was like, oh yeah, man, your Deep Dragon is on back order, so it should get here maybe next week. And Josh immediately just snapped his neck to me and was like, I'm sorry, the what? I said, don't worry about it. That's not something you need to worry about right now anyway. And then he said, and by the way, since you're here, I'll go ahead and let you know that your Spider Dragon is, it's currently out of stock, but we will be getting it, we've already put in for us to get it back soon. Figurine on the tail jar. Well, there's that, but it's also just very simply the evil idea of they all know that if I have the figure, it eventually will get used. So, yeah, and the campaign in question is all taking place in the Underdark, and all of these are Underdark creatures. So now they are very much panicking about going back into the Underdark together. And Ramesine is one of those players at that table, so I am enjoying the hilarity of now more than one person knows, but they will still not be able to prepare for it. Oh, hey, speaking of, hey, Josh, how you doing? We were just talking about you. And how wonderful your reactions were at the game store this weekend. Well, you're half right in that, Landon. I made a deal with my players that I would not kill them. I just never said I wouldn't traumatize them. Imagine you, Landon, beginning with a bar, but instead of booze, it's minis, like top shelf liquor. Instead, minis get larger on higher shelves. Yes. Custom world building is intact. Hell yeah, Pine. That is awesome. So they agreed to it because a lot of them, it was their first time playing D&D London. So I made a deal with them that I would not maliciously murder their characters. And they came to me with some interesting backstories and ideas, and I said, okay, I hope you're prepared for chaos, and I hope you're prepared for me to use every bit of this against you. So thus now they understand why I'm handing out all of these broken magic items to them when they're at low levels, because now I get to flip to the fun section of the monster manual and see how badly I can give them nightmares. One of your characters is a panda man. No, wait, what? No, I didn't mean to pin that. Undo that. One of your characters is a panda man, who is a fantastic chef, by the way. You, for whatever reason, non-combat roles you were the king of, Josh. I don't understand. I legitimately just do not understand how every time combat rolls around, you wind up being like the last in initiative half the time, but then you turn around and pull the most Mortal Kombat finisher crap on everybody. Yeah, it's either no one sees how epic you were, or you go out of your way to pull something so over the top, and you fail so spectacularly that it still winds up being awesome. It's just nobody gives you the credit for it. Because they're too busy, dealing with so many other horrifying shenanigans. Like the time I accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally tricked one of your parties into getting attacked by the Bagman. Because only 2 people in the party knew what I was doing, yet none of you were able to stop me. Until it was too late. That was such a fun encounter. And now I've made everybody in that group paranoid of ever getting near their bag of holding it again. So it works out perfectly. So see, I am benevolent, mostly maliciously so, but I am benevolent in some way. Like I said, I'm not maliciously trying to kill you, I'm just getting to use the really fun sections of the monster manuals. God, too soon. Okay. Reuben deserved it. You will not convince me that my actions were unjustified. He was a filthy Imperial hunting a Jedi. Not my fault, not my problem. And it wasn't the fact that I yeeted him that got him killed. It was a sudden stop at the bottom of the yeeting hole that killed him. And his sandwich was delicious. You will not make me feel guilty about this. Even a year later, I still stick to the fact that I was in the right. I was. I am feeling no guilt over the fact of my understandable defense at an Imperial hoping to kill me while he was sitting next to a cliff. You can't do that and expect me not to yeet a man off a cliff. It's not how that works. Not even a little bit. You're fine there, Ramazine. Welcome back. But yeah, even a year later, you will not make me regret any of that. He did have his weapon, though, Landon. He did. You've seen the footage. I specifically sent it to you and highlighted that he had his weapon on him. I defended myself. That is still grounds for self-defense. He specifically mentioned he was going to be hunting a Jedi. I happen to be the only Jedi in the vicinity. I feel no regret for my self-defense. I just know you're going to throw something at me one of these days. That sounds like plausible cause to me. Nah, pretty sure he picked it up. Yeah, that hook build that you've got working on, bro. I am insanely impressed with how quickly you were able to turn that one around. Because it already looks fantastic. Oh, come now, Landon. Come now. You're probably going to wait until we meet up again. I'm going to order a sandwich and you're going to take it from my plate and throw it at me. My opinion of your shit take. I think I saw that. I do think if that was the pictures you were posting today, yes, I did take a look at it. It's just work kind of had me pinned down a little bit today. Oh, much worse? Well, I am waiting, oh Celestial, of the horrible things you plan to do. Because you didn't do anything to me when I had the Reuben at that sports bar we went to, other than laugh at the fact that that's what I ordered. Which it was pretty damn good, in all honesty. Okay, well, hey, half the fun is rebuilding a little bit, but at least you don't have to start from scratch. I'll steal his sandwich. You'll really, Josh, my own flesh and blood. You already know how stealing my food will go for you, so do that at your own peril. Because I can record what I do to you, and it won't get me in trouble. I mean, I will happily be a victim of it, because at this point I'm overly curious as to what kind of chaotic shenanigans I could get up to. Because I'm either going to be your greatest headache in the campaign, or I will be one of the biggest laughing points for you. It really just depends. Because I know what my kind of shenanigans always lead to. Oh. Okay, we can breathe again. Good. Oh, I hope you have, because I really would love to test what you think you have planned. You can ask Josh. I do not follow or abide by any seriousness in any kind of situation that I can help it. Oh, okay. A European styled naginata. That will be interesting to see. The GM is never truly ready for their players. But I very happily relish the idea, Landon. I 100% am just waiting for the shenanigans to kick off. And I know you've got a lot of things in the works and a few things going on at the same time. So by all means, take the time that you need. And whenever it's ready to rip and tear, you better believe I'm happily going to be there. Well, no, there's no rush on that. I think we're more than understanding that there's a good bit going on, and so just whenever you're working on it, work and consult with those that you're trying to help, getting those that are helping you make it as good as you can and as perfect as you want it to be. And once it's ready, we'll be there ready to rock it out with you. I'll have my, overabundance of dice ready to roll at a moment's notice. As I am very much becoming a dice dragon at this point. And I am quite aware that there is a owl flittering about that is partially helping in that. Don't take your shit to you as a DM, it's infected. I have no idea what you mean, Ramesine. You're the ones who have committed the fun war crimes. You're the reason that there is an open document between me and the other DM called the Neverwinter Accords to make up for the horrendous crap that you guys started from day one. The Forgotten Realms equivalent of Geneva Convention is just the Neverwinter Accords. But remember, it's never a war crime the first time you do it. They don't need to know that. But it is such an entertaining story to tell. Why would we not tell it? Your deeds will forever live on in infamy. If your party doesn't leave an impact, was it really an adventure? That is both a terrifyingly apt way to describe adventurers, but also, Pine, I don't think I don't know if I have fully explained the scope of Ramesses specifically his idea of what his war crime was. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city. Yeah, no, so Ramesses and one of my other players literally wiped out a good chunk of the nobles in our world by just nonchalantly daisy chaining them with explosives when they were kidnapped by pirates. Asked no questions, didn't think about anything else, and happily blew them apart. Dead in the grout between our deeds leave between the grout and the bottom of the most awful gutter. So he, now granted, they were trying to flee from a kraken at the time, but they daisy chained a bunch of hostages together and blew the pirates up that kidnapped them, as well as the ship they were on that was being ripped in half by a kraken at the time. So they blew the kraken in half and killed every soul aboard that ship. And only later, when they tried to loot the debris floating in the sea, were they entreated with the fact that, oh, there were some noble crests on a lot of those pieces of luggage there. Whoops. I wouldn't say that you killed most of yourself. All you did was mildly inconvenience yourself by making yourself into a mimir. Because you very, very much have a partner in crime who is more than willing to ferry you around and listen to your shenanigans to let you pull off more heinous evils as you go through this campaign. Of all the people you could have chosen to be like, hey, work with me on this, you wound up choosing the best one at the table to willingly let you get away with damn near anything. And I absolutely love it. As every bit of it has just been I don't think I laughed that hard in a long time when you guys pulled that off. Because that was not planned at all. I relish to get everybody back at the table just to see what kind of wild and crazy shit that you come up with. Because it is an absolute delight to have everybody at the table. It's going to be so fun having everybody at the table again. Especially once I get the remodel done, which tentatively I will make this announcement. When the ability to actively start preparing for these renovations happens, I will probably open myself up a little fundraiser or do like a streamathon or some kind of donathon to kind of help boost the funding so it doesn't put me too far in the hole trying to get all of this done. Because there is a good bit of like even when I do fully take over the house here, there is still some things that are going to need to be done. And some of those things are like, this needs to be done immediately, and other things are, well, this can probably wait. So I will I will tentatively say that once things start moving closer to that direction of I am fully and freely going to be taking over the house, I will make some kind of announcement, probably on my Blue Sky or my Instagram. And I will attempt to do some kind of marketing for it. But the idea will be very much just to, kind of raise a little bit of the funding to kind of offset the cost of the living room is getting fully renovated. Both of the kids' rooms are going to be partially redone. And I have a part of the floor that needs to be redone in one of the rooms of the house. Everything else I will mostly just be having the time and energy and manpower to, move things around and reorganize. But once that gets to the point where I can actively do that, I will probably do a, little fundraiser donathon to kind of, help offset some of the cost of what that's going to wind up being. And I'm going to have to call around to a couple of old contacts anyway to see how much getting that floor fixed will wind up being, because that one's going to be unfortunately, that one's going to be a massive chunk of change. But we'll see what we can do when we get a little bit closer to that time. Hopefully, I can, put in a good little bit of work in at my job to help offset a little bit of this. Oh, it really will, because then I won't be here at this table. I will be at my actual desk, and I will have a different rig here instead of this little collapsible arm that I have on this table. I will actually have a mounted arm and a legitimate camera instead of my smartphone to have a full top-down view of my actual painter's desk. So I'll be able to do this a little bit more professionally. But we'll also just have, the kids having their own space will be perfect. Me having, my own dedicated space for me. Being able to fix up the living room how I want it to be will be fantastic and give me the ability to start running my D&D games again. And I'll be able to host, friends over more often. I'll be able to do just a lot more. Thank you, Cozy. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, and that is something that is coming up around summertime for me. So yeah, once we get a little bit closer to things officially turning over in that direction, I'll probably Landon, I'll probably discuss with you when would be the best times and stuff to do a major big event like that. And I'll see if I can't fire up those 2 bits of social media I have and do a little bit of advertising for it, and see if we can't do a little bit to offset, or at least make it to where it's not going to break the bank for me to get 3 rooms taken care of, and then if need be I can just do No, okay. Like, just as long as to me, I just want to be able to not break every bit of my bank doing this, or having to do like a consolidation and add that amount into a consolidation just to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping that when I go to discuss it with some of my old contacts, they'll be able to cut me a deal, and it's not going to cost me, like a full arm and a leg to get some of this stuff fixed. But I mean, I'm beyond excited to see what this winds up being and how this winds up turning out. So, okay, we've got the Flind mostly done, the Berserker mostly done, and the Executioner mostly done. So, okay, mostly it's just, I should have kept the white open. At this point, yeah, it's just painting their bodies up, which I could. No, I think I'll do that. I think I'll blend these two colors together. Event? Oh, you didn't miss anything there. Is that I was just talking about once things get a little closer to time for the house to be turned over to me, I will probably do a little fundraiser for the bit of remodeling work that I'm gonna need done, because there is a few things that are gonna be needed immediately, as opposed to a few things that I can sit back and kind of like hold off and get piece by piece over time. So it just depends. I'll drum when it gets a little closer to time for it. I'll drum up like a little post on Instagram and Blue Sky about it, and we'll see what we can wind up coddling together. Probably do some, like some painting, some gaming. Just maybe do just like a multi-day a couple of long streams. Maybe take like an extended weekend, one day close to time, and then just see how much we can drum up in terms of being able to take everything or get everything as close to not breaking the bank as possible. Atone for your sandwich building stream. Oh man, a sandwich building stream. That only if I can make some shaggy sandwiches. That will be the only way that I will do an IRL sandwich building stream. But I mean, once I have the house, a cooking stream could be on the table. But of course, I'll come up with some good goals. It has to have Reuben ingredients. You know what? I would be down for that. Alright, I've already got funding goals then. If we hit a certain funding goal, I will do an IRL sandwich building stream. And it has to be a foot long route. Okay, we can make that work. I can go get me some baguettes. I know where a decent enough bakery is here. We can do that. Yeah, we can make that work. That can be one of the major funding goals is to have Old do an IRL Reuben stream to atone for his sins. I have to stream myself making lunch. I mean, I will wholeheartedly down for other suggestions as well, but that is too gold not to do. Especially since that is the channel meme anyway, is that I am just a monster to sandwiches, so I will very happily accept that as a stream reward, as a like funding goal stream of an IRL sandwich stream. But yeah, we could do like, because I know only a few of you have actually seen me in full regalia. I could do a full fursuit reveal for Old. I could do an IRL gaming stream where you guys see how I rage at games instead of watching me play them. Like I said, I do know that I have a whole other game series planned. Admit you were. Now, okay, you were gonna have to. That will have to be like the final funding goal, and Landon, you would have to be the one that pushes it over to that final funding goal if that's what you want. That will be the only way that I will allow that to happen. And even then, I may still not admit it. Not a problem there, Ramesine. You give the lady my best. I hope that you have a wonderful night and hopefully get you some good rest before you head back into work. And yeah, we will definitely be talking to you here fairly soon. Get you some good rest. So many rules, you're worried. If you want me to be honest, yes, because I know who you will probably talk to ensure that these ridiculous goals are made, and then you would donate that last dollar to put it in. Like I know how I have a terrifying feeling of how that may work. No, I'm not saying you would spend anyone else's money, but you would ensure that the correct amount of donations are made for you to make said final donation. You have to buy a stormtrooper and make it to a statue with big letters saying Reuben to immortalize him and show that you really pull Helga to him. When Darkfires enters the chat, the one-winged angel starts playing. Pretty much, yes. No, okay, Landon. Then I will happily accept your challenge on that. Now I need to look up how much a Stormtrooper standee is going to be, if that's the case. If you guys want me to create a shrine to Reuben, the dead Stormtrooper. And I will still not apologize for what I did. I was justified. I will forever say that I was justified. replace Sephiroth with Darkfire. Alright, yeah, I need to go over to Fiverr. We're gonna make this for Darkfire. I just need you guys to play with a one-winged angel, but every time it says Sephiroth, just, say Darkfire. That's all we need you to do. Let's remix it real quick. We'll have fun with it. But no, I mean, I'll drum up a little bit of hype for it when we're closer to time, and I'll have plenty of funding goals. But I mean, you guys are giving me some fantastic ideas on a sandwich stream, an apology, a untrue admittance. We could do a fursuit stream. We could do like an IRL stream. I mean, hell, I could probably even set it up to where we could do, if there was interest for it, I could probably, especially with how I would set the living room up, I could probably set it up to where people could tune into my D&D games, even if we're just throwing it on, like, say, a video call on a Discord server or whatnot. Oh yeah, no, I 100% would love to do, like, a old reveal of just me in regalia doing goofy things on stream. I just don't know how well I'm going to be able to read. As the mask I am able to see fairly clearly out of, but reading chat might be a little bit difficult. But again, if I can get my setup the way that it needs to be, that might be a problem I can easily solve on my own. Because, I mean, I know only a couple of people have actually seen Old in his full goofy regalia, so I mean, if there is an interest in that, yeah, I will happily do a full fursuit reveal and be fully running around the house as Old in his regalia, especially when the new, since the new head should be here fairly soon. As the head maker has already contacted me a couple more times about some details. So I am super excited to see how that goes. It's not on the way yet. It is in the process of being configured. But it already has a estimated ship date. And as of yet, they have not reached out to me saying that they need to push that back a little bit. So I understand, like, they are absolutely fantastic to work with, and it's the same person who made my original head. They're just, I realized a little too late that, they actually have the more ram-like horns that Old actually has. So I talked to them about it, and I was like, would it be possible to just buy those horns from you and then attach them to my current head? And they originally said, well, unfortunately, those horns have a higher, because of how they wrap around the head, they typically have higher anchor points, so it would be where your current head's ears are supposed to be. I was like, okay, so you're telling me I would probably be better suited making a new head with you. Unfortunately, yes. And I said, that's not really as unfortunate as you say. So let me shore up the funds that are needed for that, and as soon as I am able, I will contact you again, and thankfully I was able to do so. And so I am very excited to see when that shows up. Out. Well, unfortunately, there, Michael, I don't know if I would quite. I don't think I would make a good ferret. I'm a bit too long and lanky. Well, I mean, I guess that would, in that sense, make an okay ferret, but I think I'm a rather tall ferret, if that's the case. And I'm not going to compete with our resident pine marten in any way. We can make you a honey badger. That actually would be kind of fun. Because then I really just wouldn't give a shit about anything. That would actually kind of make sense because most honey badgers in media are almost always portrayed as cantankerous old men, and I do walk with a cane. Now, a seagull? This is how dare this is decently accurate. What is that supposed to mean, Landon? I don't know if I would make a good seagull there, Aset. I'm not all that great with a bird. I have to go milk on For Honor and never return. I still run back to For Honor every now and again. No matter how much I complain about that game, I understand that it is the sword game that I have the love-hate relationship with. I still play the dreaded sword game. I will forever play it, but I always understand that I'm really only good to play it for small bursts at a time. Because if not, then yes, the rage becomes all consuming. Okay, see, the Tribussi is on, see, the Tribussi, that's on Chivalry. And they bust all the time, whether I'm there or not, which is a little disappointing. I would like for them to at least wait for me. But I'm happy to go back and start playing some, the goofiness that is Chivalry 2 again. I do find that to be quite humorous. Ah, okay. Hey, I'm not going to fault you for it there, Michael. If you can get a hold of it in the Legacy Pass, by all means. I just understand that that is a game that I either play For Honor when I'm in an incredibly good mood and need to be humbled, or if I'm just quite literally ready to indulge in the masochistic sadist side of my personality. Because that is the only times that I seem to have fun in For Honor, unless I'm gaming with friends. Now, if I can get a party of friends together, then we will just start doing dumb things for the sake of doing dumb things. I remember when Blackprior dropped, all of my buddies that I played For Honor with at the time, we all got the character, and we just started doing shield walls, and just started marching at people because it was funny. And at the time, nobody knew how... Like, you might be able to counter one person trying to flip you, but a whole team of people trying to flip you is a little bit more aggravating to try and deal with. And, I mean, that's how we were choosing to play. We were just being raging assholes for the sake of being assholes. And it was well worth the shenanigans that it became. But we were doing that for almost every character. As soon as it would drop, we would get it and start learning how to fight against it in custom matches with each other, and then we would all party up and go out into the lobbies as a 4-man crew and just start wrecking shop for the fun of it. I don't think it would work quite well on Chivalry, because Chivalry is definitely a bit more chaotic since it's got so many more people to it. But I would still, I know for a fact I would still have stupid amounts of fun gaming with people on Chivalry. Like, just the amount of wild, goofy chaos that happens in that game is always worth it, because it's like For Honor. If For Honor was way less serious and was only half as toxic. Now, don't get me wrong. I love For Honor. It is such a uniquely fun game, and there really is nothing like it out there. But at the end of the day, it's still run by Ubisoft, and no matter what I do, they're still gonna Gooby the soft, and I can't stop that. Now, hilariously enough, I did have a Shrek build on my Shigoki. I think I still have it saved as a preset. And we would almost exclusively vote to go to the mire to be able to just scream at people on mic to get out of our swamps. And me and 3 other wonderfully idiot people and friends of mine would just charge in as Gokis and give hugs and ball bat people off the map, because we needed to get them fuckers out of our swamps. And it was hilarious, it was glorious, and it was incredibly rage-inducing for anyone and everybody else who tried to do anything with us. Or against us. Because we 110% were playing like rats. And I do not blame people for being pissed off, enraged, or wanting nothing to do with us after each run. But that was also in the glory days before skill-based matchmaking existed, and the game thought I was much better at it than I actually am. I do not know how they determine their skill-based matchmaking, but after about 4 matches, I get pitted against nothing but straight demons, and I'm just like, I am nowhere near these guys. What are you doing to me? I play like an idiot. I play this game wrong, on purpose, because it's fun. Why are you pitting me up against, like, the top 10% of your player base? I do not belong here. I should not be in this lobby with these people. These people are immediately looking at me as if though I had never played the game a day in my life. Because I don't do any of the max punishes. I don't do any of the overly, technical know-how of each character. I'm just playing like a brain-dead idiot because I'm having fun. And that's how I play games. Because it's enjoyable to play a game wrong on purpose and still have fun with it. There we go. getting these good old hyena boys up and ready. But yeah, I will be returning. Only 2 Shrek movies were made. Cozy, cozy, cozy. Didn't you see the wonderful preview of how the new generation of Shrek is gonna look like? Were you not impressed? Oh, good lord. Welcome in, Ols. I hope you're doing well tonight. Did you terrorize the children sufficiently by making a fist and only making a fist and not giving in to the wonderful phrasing that was dropped in stream earlier? We saved Sonic. It could have. I hope they pull a Sonic. I hope they listen to us and go back to the original design. Because I have no idea who the hell asked for that kind of an update to it. The whole thing that made, to me, the whole thing that made Shrek stand out. What? I'm not doing anything, Landon. I'm just simply making a statement. With slightly better phrasing. But, the whole charm of Shrek, to me, at least, especially in the first 2 movies, was the fact that you went almost as realistic as you possibly could with these fairy tale IPs. These looked like people. These looked like, I mean, obviously they're all parodies, but, they had a air of realism to them. And, it was super hyper detailed and amazingly done. So the fact that your, next version of it, when you finally get around to making a new version, you go with the, cheap CGI shortcut of animation and make everything stupidly smooth and rounded. And it looks like you cheaped out on your own production. Which, the almighty dollar is why you did it, but be better. Don't ruin the good thing that you have by cheapening it with shittier animation. Okay, different classes, so alright, well, I mean, we'll take that. As long as you instilled the fear of the predator species of the cheetah, and not the predatory shenanigans that were mentioned earlier. We love you, Landon. That if we didn't, we wouldn't be poking fun. Time to sacrifice children to the cheetahs. Well, I mean, children are foolish too. They'll run. They'll activate that predatory instinct to chase down. It'll be alright. Chester demands appeasement. It's gonna get dangerously cheesy. Uh, I'm sorry, Landon. That was too good of a moment. It's the Monty Python rabbit scene all over again. Oh no. Not the demon rabbit of Antioch. We need is the holy hand grenade. Or else we shall be blasted to smithereens. Who wins in a fight between Chester and the Cheezosaurus Rex? That is an interesting question to pose. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to give it to the Eldritch Cheese Dinosaur for his ability to control liquid cheese, whereas Chester is just a cheetah with a hyperfixation on chips. Now, I will give Chester some credit. If you remember those old commercials, he apparently does have spy training, but he's still like a regular cheetah that talks. Whereas Cheezosaurus Rex is apparently able to conjure and just control liquid molten cheese. So I think I'm going to give it to the guy with actual superpowers, as opposed to giving it to the guy who doesn't have them. Chester is still around in ads. I will give you that. Chester was definitely the more survivable of the two mascots. And Batman is still just a regular dude, but Batman, in order to take down most of his foes, has to have prep time. And yeah, he's also rich, unless you're talking about absolute Batman, and that guy's broke. But absolute Batman is just a broken unit of a human being, so no. But I mean, in a just straight knockout, drag out fight, yeah, I mean, he has the military training, but what good is military training against a dude who can just literally turn you into a pile of cheese and eat you? Like that, there's the trick. Well, no, Toucan Sam is still around. They just don't do promotional material with him anymore. Tony is still around with some promotional material. But like the grandma that was on Cinnamon Toast Crunch, she's gone. We now have the squares now that just cannibalize each other, which is an interesting choice. I mean, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Landon. Captain Crunch is still around. I just don't think they use him for promotional material anymore. Same with the Flintstones, with the Fruity Pebbles and whatnot. Like, there's still a lot of mascots. It's just now, for whatever reason, we just don't use them like we used to. Because I don't think I've seen anything with Cheezosaurus Rex on it since the early 2000s. Which is kind of a shame because, before then he was literally on every commercial break on almost every channel. Kraft was definitely putting in a good chunk of change on their advertising budget with him. But also, Cheezosaurus Rex did also receive military training, had his own secret agent variation as well. So, but he still has power in terms of being able to turn things into cheese and then control said cheese, whereas, again, Chester is simply just a cheetah. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Cheezosaurus Plus, someday you will be mine. Don't watch normal TV, so I don't get exposed. Well, that was the thing, I don't have TV at all. I literally, it's either a streaming service or YouTube and Twitch. I legitimately do not have any cable subscription or anything like that, so I typically see next to nothing for ads. And the ads I do are almost always hotel stays because, they keep teasing me with the fact that I'm stuck in a warehouse and can't afford a vacation. Just look at all these wonderful places that you could visit with adult money if you were getting paid, like people were 20 years ago. But here you go, here's the idea in your head that you want to go somewhere that you can't afford. Have fun with that. That's basically it as well, and I have been trying to, increase a little bit of my physical media as well, because I like the idea of having things like that. I don't like the idea of not having or not owning a certain, show that I enjoyed. If it's something mainstream, I won't necessarily bother with it, because unless some major marketing issue happens, it's always going to be on whatever streaming service it's going to be on. But some of the lesser known or not as popular series, they may get dropped by, a distributor, and now it becomes incredibly difficult to find. So yeah, if I can find physical media of it, I prefer to have physical media. Because at least now no one can take it away from me or swap it over to a whole different service to get me to pay for that service. Same. That's the model of PS5 that I have as well. Though I will admit I am falling for the stupid idea of convenience over physical media here and there, but a lot of the games that I do have on my PlayStation, I do actually own a physical disc for them. However, it is the PS4 disc, not the PS5 version. But thankfully, a lot of them that I bought with the PS4, PS5 upgrade. So I just download the digital PS5 version of it. And I still get to keep and retain the physical 4 media disc. Oh, you sat down and watched Dragonheart? How would you rate it there, Pine? That is a bit of classic nostalgia. How did you enjoy Dragonheart? With the good old Sean Connery and is that Dennis Quaid or Daniel Day-Lewis? I get those two mixed up. Okay, it was Quaid. All right, good. I don't know why I get those two actors mixed up, but I do. Now, see, Liam Neeson would have probably done pretty good in that role. I at least think he would have. But I also cannot deny how good Dennis Quaid wound up pulling off the role himself. And having Sean Connery play a literal dragon was quite humorous in and of itself. But again, there's just something to be said about the era where practical effects met with CGI. I know that CGI looks a little dated now, but the practical effects still stand so good in old movies like that. Oh, 100%. I agree with you. The entirety of. So, did you watch just the first one, or did you watch one and two? Because those are the only ones that matter. We try to pretend that there are no other Dragonheart movies. Oh, 100%. That's why, to this day, the first three Jurassic Park movies, and notice I said only the first three, they they still look really good. And it's because they used mostly practical effects. Okay, I could see that. I could see that, Cozy. I could 100% see that. But, that's kind of the problem with, big name actors, especially around that time, their careers were really kind of popping off. They were doing, massive movies and things like that, and their schedules just weren't allowing them to do much of anything. Even if they wanted, whether they wanted the part or not. But hey, I'm glad that you got the chance to watch and enjoy Dragonheart, because again, that is a fantastically great, uh, like early 2000s, before the big CGI boom hit, where everything had to be CGI. Now, it was funny because I was talking to a buddy of mine over the weekend, and we got on the topic of like practical effects in movies and like older media looking better now, even if it does look a little dated. Like it still looks better than a lot of stuff that's coming out now. And he made a very good point. He's like, well, you look back at like Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Oh, 100%. Yeah, the dragon looked fantastic for 1996, which was what made it so wild. But like, looking at Davy Jones from Dead Man's Chest in the Pirates series, he looked incredible, still looks incredible when you go back and watch those original movies. And my buddy pointed out, he's like, the reason it still looks good, even this many years later, and still holds up, to the test of time, is simply because back then, when they made it, they didn't know how to cut corners. Dead Man's Chest 100% was a work of art. Oh, really? Okay. There you go. It's been so long since I've seen Dragonheart. I probably need to sit back and watch that and a couple of other movies. I might do that this weekend. Just do a nice little nostalgia watch. But yeah, like it's literally he pointed it out to me. He's like, because if you think about it, they were testing the technology. They were pushing the boundaries, trying to see how far they could push it. And once they found out where they could push it, they then started just using any and every shortcut they possibly could. Which is why CGI now looks like crap in a lot of movies versus, these older practical effect movies or early CGI movies. Still, like, they may look a little dated, but they still look good. And that's the reason why. Is they, at that time, they weren't looking for shortcuts. They were looking to make something great. And they were trying to push what they had as far as they could without blowing their budget completely out of the water. Whereas nowadays, they're just like, oh yeah, just make everything as simple, rounded, and smooth as possible because it'll be cheaper to render that way. As opposed to, hey, let's actually make this CGI as good as it used to look and see if we can create something, unique and terrifying again. That was actually why I was a little disappointed in Prey. Which, granted, I absolutely love Prey as a movie in the Predator franchise. I love Prey. It is a great movie, and it was a great return to form. I was a little disappointed in the final fight, because I feel like, the Predator took himself out. But I was disappointed when I sat down and watched the movie because I was like, wait a minute, why is the Predator mostly CGI? When, originally it was practical suits with maybe a little bit of CGI in between. And then I saw behind the scenes where, the actor was actually wearing the practical effects suit, and I was like, dude, that looks so much better. Why did you not use the suit? Why did you feel the need to utilize all of that CGI unnecessarily when you could have just used this very good looking practical suit that you guys had? What is wrong with you? But you look at what's cheaper in that aspect. Oh yeah, that's also another thing. Yeah, that right there, Pine. Like, yeah, every now and again we'll still get some good animation, but it's only when, like an animation studio is like really trying to push something different out. And then you have, like the older movies, yeah, like a lot of times they weren't guaranteed to ever get a sequel. So you were just like, yeah, we're going to make this movie as good as we can. We're going to punch up as much into making this look as good as possible. And if it works out, the studio may give us more money and greenlight us for a sequel. I mean, if you go back and watch New Alien, good. Now, see, that bothers me. Like, if an actor gave permission or his estate gave permission for his likeness to be used, that's one thing. But to just pull somebody, who did not give that kind of permission because that was not where technology was when they passed, that bothers me deeply. Because that really is, essentially beating a dead horse. Like you were preying on a nostalgia factor in an unethical way, in my opinion. Because, that actor may never have wanted to be used in that way. That's not really honoring their memory or their legacy to a franchise by just pulling them out of, the grave, so to speak, just to slap their face on to try and put butts in seats. Because again, if you've got crappy writing and you're having to rely so heavily on nostalgia bait, and you're not willing to pay actual actors, then you're essentially just ensuring that your industry is going to die and your industry is going to crash. Because I want to give credit and I want to give my money to the people who worked hard on a project. That's why, AAA studios are failing left and right now, is they're like, well, we can't get our gamers to be happy with us. Well, because you won't listen to the gamers anymore. All you do is you keep churning out the same slop you do every year, and you just expect everybody to keep buying it. And when people literally say you've released the same game 8 years in a row, you've not innovated anything, you've not changed anything in a meaningful way, and all you've done is just add predatory microtransactions to an already overpriced experience that I have to pay for almost every year, yeah, I'm gonna get burnt out and I'm gonna go look at an indie dev studio that's coming out with this massively wonderful game experience for literally a third of the price, and it's made by real people who are actually passionate about what they're doing. And, you can tell when people are passionate about what they're doing versus people who are just in it trying to make money off of it. Because if you're just simply in it to make coin, then, you have no sustenance within your work other than greed. And when greed is your only motivating factor, all you're doing is motivating me as the consumer to stay away from you. And unfortunately, not enough studios or, directors or higher ups in those industries are catching that hint, and those that are making the necessary changes, but it's not changing the industry. And I think that is sadly a waste, because there is so much good talent out there if you look for it. I've got friends who they have no reason being in the jobs that they are, because they could be comedians, they could be actors, they could be so much. Yeah, like the second Atari crash. It's just very simply like, if you're going to do a thing, you need to. Oh, it is deep faking an actor who has passed away that is unethical to me. There is no reason for you to do that other than to prey on nostalgia. Now, like I said, in the event of like an actor passing away and they putting in their will or their estate that, hey, under certain circumstances, to preserve like the character that I played, you may resurrect, vocals or, even certain types of appearances for the character. If that permission is given, then that is ethical use. Like James Earl Jones said that he was okay with Lucasfilm using his voice as Darth Vader going forward after his death. He said as long as it is done respectfully, he will be fine with it, and his estate is fine with it. However, pulling an actor who didn't do that back into their film franchise, hoping to use that as a marketing ploy, that, oh, this is an appearance of this one actor who passed away. That is scummy, that is unethical, and I don't understand how. Well, I do and I don't. I don't understand how immediately the Screen Actors Guild and the Directors Guild are not immediately blacklisting people who are doing that, because I would. But I also understand that there is really no precedent set against that, because again, the technology is too new and people are moving too slow to protect those who were vulnerable to being exploited by it. But I agree. I think anyone who utilizes deep fakes of past actors who never consented for their voices to be used, never consented for their visuals or likeness to be used in anything after their death, you're a scumbag if that's what you're doing. That is disrespectful to a person and their legacy, and their estate should sue the hell out of it. And then you should be blacklisted from your craft for doing so. Like, that's just, I don't understand why why that's a thing. Delicious. Hydration Nation, everybody. Let's see here. Because I know as myself, I 100% would not willingly want to give my likeness over to anyone to use and prop me up after I'm gone. Or like if I wanted to Weekend at Bernie's, I would go and film Weekend at Bernie's. But I wasn't part of that movie, so we're not doing that to me after I'm gone. And I can't imagine very many actors, even the weird ones, would want to be, you know, essentially Weekend at Bernie's throughout the rest of, you know, however long their name would stay relevant. As I don't understand. I really don't. Because all that tells me is when Hollywood starts doing that again, or when that's Hollywood's answer to anything going on is, hey, we're just going to get all the original actors back together, even though all of them are gone. We can just CGI them into a scene. Literally the only thing that tells me is that we're going to get more of the absolutely stellar writing that gave us the most quotable scene in all of Star Wars. It's bad. I don't know how, but somehow Palpatine returns. Like, that's literally going to be all of Hollywood if that shit continues. Is that will be the entirety of the writers' rooms. How are we going to explain that this guy came back? Well, I mean, look at what Star Wars did. Somehow he returned and everybody loved it. No, we didn't. In fact, just about everybody who is still left at Lucasfilm is trying to decanonize all of those sequels or retcon them in any way possible. Like, just come on, guys. I get that we're apparently running out of original ideas and whatnot, but you can still find passionate people about current IPs, and you can do better. Just please, for the love of the gods, do better. Because this is not this is not cinema. This is not anything good or halfway worth even going anywhere to watch, let alone to let it come out and stream it and watch it at home. Like, a lot of this stuff is just bad. It didn't used to be. That's the problem. It used to be something halfway decent. Nowadays, it's just, well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's slop, is what it is. It's just quick, money grubby slop. Okay, let's see. Oak and Haft. We'll get the underside of that. Of those bracers. But, I guess might as well. I ranted well on that one. But, I mean, I will forever be I prefer practical effects over CGI because, again, they just give more heart to your movie. Welcome back there, Oles. What was it that you wound up grabbing to eat tonight? Something good, I hope. Get you some good rest there, Pine. I hope you enjoy your weekend as it finds you. Get you some good R&R for it. Just relax and enjoy it. You've definitely more than earned it. But you have yourself cheese pasta. There you go. Get you some good rest there, Pine, and we'll talk at you either in the next stream or we'll catch you in some other friendos streams. Have a wonderful night. Right, we're almost finished with this guy. We're just gonna finish off his little leather leg wraps and then we'll move on to the final fine detailing of the character. And then that'll conclude all three of the Knoll Warband members. And we can pick what figures we'll do on the next one. And maybe just go ahead and start their priming phase on which ones we pick. Okay, so here. Apparently, I just outright skipped the belt here. Actually, I kind of like the streaks that this gold left because it almost gives it a like tarnished appearance, which is even better. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with spacing out now there, Rolls. You've had a nice long day, and it's already almost the middle of the week for you, since you live in the future compared to me. So, I mean, you've got this. It's alright to space out a little bit. You can just kind of sit back, get you some good rest, some R&R. And then, you know, you've only got a little bit left in terms of your schoolwork to deal with, and then you're off for a good little bit, aren't you? Especially after eating a good meal, nothing's wrong with spacing out. I kind of prefer to be able to do that myself. Alright, so we'll make this a great health. Okay, well there you go. Then you don't have much left to go at all. You've got this, Souls. I wholeheartedly believe in you, and then you can just sit back, rest, and relax at home, and enjoy the time of just doing whatever it is you and your heart desires. Here we go. That nice bit of good texture in here. And if that black bleeds through, it's just going to give it that kind of dirty and dingy appearance, which is perfectly acceptable for our Noel Flynn here. Which I know flies a lot in the face of the perfection I like to try and do. But I am challenging myself, letting it go, and just simply letting it be. Doesn't have to be perfect if it still looks good. And giving the thing a chance to kind of allow itself to settle on its own. That wyvern showed me that there was a lot of surprises that can happen. Because I was not expecting that blue to work at all after I put it on and could barely see it. But then when it dried, that motherfucker was blue. It turned out beautifully. I love how that wyvern looks. So we're going to try and utilize that same, let it be, give it the minute it needs, and see what happens with these guys. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Because at the end of the day, as long as I can be proud of it, Whether it's perfect or not, that's what matters. Is that the project was done in a way that I agree that it is in a state of being finished. And again, the idea of it being kind of dingy and unkempt is actually a plus in this situation. Now I gotta strain my eyes a little bit to ensure I get all these finer little detailed spots. Okay, there we go. He is almost completed. All right. Good old dog nose. Are. Now, I agree, Old. You've got this. You don't have much longer to go through, and you've got it. Alright, so since you have this big, impressive mane here, we're gonna spice this up with a bit of black. Make it to where you are kind of gonna stand out. Which, as a berserker, is something you wouldn't necessarily mind doing. leave some of that brown to bleed through on that. So it looks like I need to go brown and white, and then you are finished. Let's get your mane done. Give you that nice, almost spotted hyena look, but I think we'll forego spotting you up. Alright, I'll say that that one is done and ready to be glued to his base. I can add a little bit of detail here. Good old-fashioned scarring here and there. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Lyman. We thankfully should almost be done. It's just this last one here. I skipped his belt for some reason. I guess I figured I would just come back to it, so now we do. So he's got some bones, some teeth, and a couple of skulls. Then we just need to toss the brown on for the belt. Those skulls are probably going to take a couple of coats, so go ahead and hit these other bones and teeth that he's got on the belt. Let those dry for a minute. Actually, I think I'm going to streak this pelt too. Add a little bit of it's drying up fairly dark. So we'll just streak that up a little bit. Make it seem a little bit more savage in that way. Again, the fun little bits of environmental storytelling that you get to tell when you work on characters. Apparently I missed a spot there. So we're going to go back and fix that. There we go. Almost done. Okay. Alright. Let's just get that one spot on the arm I missed and then hit that white one more time. And that should be good enough to finish these off. Go. Now those last passes of the skulls. Marge Simpson Game Shop tried to dominate the Asian hobby market, going so far as to rebrand their pot of paint. They still use pots that feature Japanese kanji. Target was Gundam. They didn't know how big Gundam was and failed miserably. Honestly, that does not surprise me at all. But, you know, everybody's trying to hit those quote-unquote under monetized markets, and I don't agree with a hobby being under monetized because, well, it's a hobby. You had your boom. You've been making millions. You're still making millions. Be happy with what you've got because you're consistently doing that. But when you go and try to encroach on other areas that you are not familiar with, you're not going to be doing that well. And when you're not doing all that well, you then start getting irrational and you start blaming the wrong people. And when you blame the wrong people and start vocalizing your distaste at the fact that your market didn't go the way that you wanted it, the people in that space who essentially fund your business and the ability to continue working in that space are going to take note and basically tell you, fuck off, we'll do our hobby with or without you. We can go to other paint brands, we can go to other ideas, we can do other brands. We don't necessarily need you. Just because you're the quote-unquote premium choice doesn't automatically mean you're better than everybody else. That just simply means that you are the one with the reputation. Now, if the reputation's good, yeah, maybe I'll continue to buy from you. But you sour that reputation by being sour at your consumers, then no thank you. You have helped me make up my mind. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Alright, what did I do with my super? There it is. Alright. Now for the fun part. All right. Well, I can say with confidence that that finishes our little Knoll rating party here. We now finished up our little custom Flend and all of his intricate flail of madness and tattered, stained pelt glory. We also have our Knoll Berserker in all of his scarred and roughed up fury. And finally, last but not least on that list, is our Knoll Executioner. And I love just how fun, goofy, and savage these little bastards can be. So that moves them into our complete pile. Alright, so basically the only things that are left on our pile here that are within frame for me to point out is all of our Underdark shenanigans. So, what do you think we should start on next? Ettercaps, Drow, Cloaker, Piercer, or the Giant Spider? The Spooter? Yeah, for the glory of the Spider Queen, I guess. Alright. So we've got the Giant Spider in all of his doofy looking self, and the Egg Sack as well, which will be, I can already tell that's going to be fun to paint. But I have ideas already. So, alright. Let's go ahead and get him primed up in this nice dark color. We won't prime the eggs, as they will be perfectly fine to remain as they are. And let's get this guy primed up real quick. Then we'll see if we can get him done. Because once we finish the Underdark fun, I actually have a dice tower that I have rediscovered. There is a old colleague of mine who gave me a door ornament they wanted me to paint up for them. And I also have a tavern that Ramesine gifted to me for my birthday a few years back that I will finally have the ability to paint. So I figured once we clear this immediate pile in front of me, which I think we will save the rock, the giant bird, I think we will save it for the last of this pile. But once we paint the rock, we can then move on to, say the tavern, the dice tower, the Ryoko Dragon Mini that is basically a statue, not so much a mini. We can also move on to the very, very limited Warhammer figures that I have. But I also still have another pile of shame on my actual painting desk of multiple other D&D/fantasy creatures that I have piled up in there as well. And then there's another statue that I have that I could paint, but I don't believe I can actually paint that one on stream. I think that one is going to be one I will have to paint off stream. And then just drop in the server at a later date. But yes, I'm slowly utilizing the motivation of streaming to help me work through all of this wonderful pile of shame that I have accumulated over the last few years, and have been like, yeah, I'll get to it. It's there. It's not going anywhere. I'll get the motivation to do this again. Only for my muse and motivation to be like, oh yeah, so we're wanting to do this thing now. I gotta absolutely love that my muse is just as ADHD as I am. I love and hate painting insects. I love it because they always turn out so fun and interesting. I hate it because of the angle of all of these extra appendages. They just make it an absolute pain to get in and behind and hit everything in a nice, even way. Okay, let's see here. Let's swap that out then. Sorry if things sound weird for a moment, but changing over earpieces. Okay. Oh, okay. No, it was just battery notification screamed at me in my ear, so I figured I would swap over to the other headphone. I was hoping I could do that without it causing too much interference. But I think that case is just about as finicky as the earpieces themselves nowadays. But again, soon that won't be a problem because soon I'll be able to just like cracking open a cold one. But yeah, now soon I'll be able to actually just continue to use my, usual headset that I use when I game and do my usual VTubing. Because if you notice, my VTuber does not move with my little Bluetooth headset. I tried messing with the settings, but it just won't recognize my earpiece as an actual microphone on the computer. It only recognizes it as a microphone while I use this little app to add in my audio. So unfortunately, it makes it to where my VTuber just kind of sits there idle and cute in the corner, which is fine, but once I'm able to move this setup a little bit closer to my computer, then I will actually be able to use my headset that I typically use, and that won't be a problem. I mean, he blinks from time to time. I made sure to keep that setting on. But yes, he does stare a little bit. It's alright. Trying to see if I can outdo Landon's soul stare that they do when their VTuber tracking goes goes a little cattywampus on us. If not, he's just enjoying how good his pipe is, that's all. I mean, your stare when you drop your tracking off of the dozer is absolutely hilarious. I absolutely love it, to be honest, because it reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from a parody that I watched a while back. I'll have to see if I can find the scene and send it to you, but I just imagine because you can almost hear it just say it, just stare, as it looks directly into your soul. It's fine. I find it to be quite humorous and enjoyable. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. And, when you gotta go and take care of something, you gotta take care of something. No, you can roll your eyes at me all you want. Honestly, I don't find it to be that bad. I find it to be entertaining in and of itself. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Let's see here. Coming along nicely. Just again, I love and despise all of these extra limbs. Just because they make it so hard to get into every spot to give it that nice even coat. Because everything is so damn close together. In theory, you would think would make things easier, but no, not in this case. It just makes it to where you double, triple, and quadruple check the same 4 areas multiple times just to make sure you got that spot covered. If not, there's going to be a weird noticeable spot when you come through with the other colors, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, you missed a spot. Our back's getting a little stiff, so we might just only be getting him primed tonight, but that's fine. That means we can paint and finish him up on our next stream. I think I'm going to use this blank thorax here as a nice little canvas to start drawing, freehanding a couple of goofy little designs if I can. I'll have a day or so to kind of think on what I want to do with that. Come up with a nice little design to kind of make him stand out a little bit in the dark of the Underdark. Always this part that gives me the most trouble, even more so than the legs. Just being able to get those final grooves underneath everything. All right. That. Oops. Do that. Okay. That puts that primed. So since this is all interior caves, we'll do the cave floor in darker, deeper brown colors. Why does that look more red than brown? That's the brown. Why do you look more red?
me get some shit! And grab my dick. Please tell me you mean the submarine.
Thank you there, Zed, for both the grabbing it and the hydration. I don't like this one. There's not really a good way to grab it. Actually, yeah, we'll do it that way. We'll get the bigger brush here. That should hold that off for us. At least until that dries, and then I may touch up or just finish the bases of them tomorrow. And then we'll come back on stream on Wednesday. Here, there we go.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. Pause that music for right now. But no, it has been a very enjoyable last little bit of stream. I do greatly appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. That felt good. As we did get the full Null Warband party done. So what we're going to do is to make up for last week and the fact that I had to cancel Wednesday and Friday's usual stream, is I will be back on Wednesday and we will be doing another one of these streams. We will finish up the spider as well as maybe get to work on a couple of others. And then we will continue moving forward through our fun little pile of shame. But do keep in mind, for those of you who are here who may not know, Aset's birthday bash is tomorrow. If you're not following him, you should be. In fact, let's go ahead and do this little number here.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
But, yeah, he is doing the continuation of his wonderful birthday celebration. So definitely go check him out. I will very happily be over there tomorrow as well, showing love and support as he deserves it. And we will see how things wind up going. But from there, I greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope the rest of your evening, afternoon, morning, or night winds up going well. And we will catch you again either here on Wednesday in the server, or we will catch you all on other friends' streams. So have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you all soon. Vafail, everyone.